when I look at this debtors list and creditors list, I want you to notice, can you see here is a pronto and a pronto? Okay? Can you see that? Can you see here's a cork and here's a cork? Can you see here's a domini and here's a domini? So what does it mean? It means that pronto, and whatever I say about pronto now is also for cork and domini. Pronto in my books is both a debtor and a creditor, which means I buy from him on credit and he buys from me on credit. Now let's say I have person A and I have person B. Person A owes person B 70 rand. Person B owes person A 30 rand. Is person A going to pay B 70 and then B is going to pay him 30? No, it doesn't make sense. It makes more sense that A will pay B 40. You get it? Okay, so we call that process, we are going to consolidate it. Okay. What? Okay, so instead of him paying 70 and he pays 30, we say, okay, you know what, let's deduct what you owe from what I owe. So I'm just going to pay you 40. Let's take it more personal. Okay, now? I owe you 10 rand. You owe me 15 rand. So what's the most logical thing for you to do? To pay me what? To pay me 5 rand. Okay? Doesn't that make sense? Yeah, it's less admin, it's less everything. So now, I'm going to do this. And it's usually we do this the end of the financial year. But what we do is we consolidate the balances. We make him one of the two. Right? So, now let's go look. I identified pronto. So I know I want to transfer pronto. So, when I go to my general ledger, I'm going to write pronto as a debit and pronto as a credit. Can you see at this stage I have not identified which pronto? Pronto the debtor or pronto the creditor? I just wrote pronto. Okay, so that's my first step. My second step, which amount is the smallest? The 1,250. So I take the smallest amount and I go put it in. 1,250, 1,250. Okay. Because you always take the smaller to the bigger. No? You always take the smaller side to the bigger side. Right. So step 1 is you write the name. Step 2 is you take the smallest amount. Now you're going to identify. Now, please remember, debtors is debit. Ne? Now, and creditors are credit as a rule. But can you see that rule doesn't apply everywhere? Ne? How could it be that Domini here has got a debit balance in the creditors? Because if I look at a creditor's control, it's most a minus plus. So how can he have a minus balance? He overpaid. I overpaid him. In other words, I paid him more than what I owe him. So now he owes me. You see? Okay. So now I look. At the smallest amount, what is the side? Can you see here? What's the side? Credit. So it means I want to take away the 1,250. How do I take away in accounting? If I have in the creditors control here 1,250, how will I get the 1,250 away? How will I make this go away that it's 0? No. How will I take this away? Just in a way of, don't say minus, in this case it's minus, but to minus, what did I do? I took it to the opposite side. Can you see? Can you see that? So I'm going to put it in here. Does that make sense? So can you see Pronto as a creditor is now 0. Can you see that? Because I'm going to take that 1,250. Let me do it different. I'm going to do it like this. And everybody's going to understand it then. I'm going to do it for you as a debtor's ledger. So here's Pronto in the debtor's ledger. Pronto the debtor, has got a balance of 4,200. Pronto the creditor has got a balance of 1,250. You all with me? So now when I look at this, the smallest one is the 125. So I'm going to start with the smallest one. Okay. So obviously it's a plus because it's credit. How will I get that 1,250 away so that this is no longer a creditor? I'm going to minus it. You see? And then what am I going to do? I'm going to take it here to his debtor's ledger. Can you see? What I owe him, I'm now going to subtract from what he owes me. So now he owes me, is it 3,950, 2,950? Can you see what's happening? So I'm making the small one 0. He's no longer a creditor. I owe him nothing. But now he owes me less. Does that make sense? So to do it, and the thing that you will see is the signs will always be the same. Can you see both of them are minusing in this case? Okay. So if I go here, which one did I debit? Can you see I debited Pronto the creditor? Can you see that? So Pronto, so I'm writing there C and D, just so I don't get confused. So I'm going to say Pronto the creditor. Can you see it says creditor? So I need to go to the creditors control.
Ma'am, why didn't you start with debit first, then credit?
Because I'm starting with the side debit. And which one did I debit? Pronto the creditor. You see? Then I take the debtor is credited 1,250. The next one I see is Corp. So Corp, the debtor, now look at this. He's got a credit balance of 310. How is that possible? He overpaid us. So I'm going to say it's negative 310. Can you see? Negative 310. And Corp, the creditor, ne, is positive 3,004. Now, which amount is the smallest? 310. So immediately I'm going to write Cork Traders, ne? 310. Can you see I'm not going to bracket it here? Just clean 310 because it's about the size in the books. So everybody shop with that. But now comes the trick. So if I look here, I'm going to work with the 310. It's a negative. How do I know it's a negative? Because they told me it's a credit balance. How will I get this to be 0? I'm going to plus it. And if it's here a plus, it's going to be here a plus. Which makes sense, because if you think about it, he overpaid. So actually I owe him 310. I also owe him 34. So how much do I owe him in total? 37. Okay, you get it. Now I want you to relay this here. Let's see if you got it right. Which one, please listen, which one did I debit? The debtor. So I credit the creditor. Okay? So that 310 is on the debit side in the debtor's control. The 310 is on the credit side of the creditors. How did it go? So I want you to see, so far, every time I drew a debtors and a creditors ledger. Yes, baby? What I want you to see is, it's going to be quicker for you if you can do it as a debtor's control and a creditor's control. Because remember, what happens to the single has an influence on everyone. So, if I look at Dumini, which one am I doing? Dumini. Which amount is the smallest? The 300. So I can put the 300 in there. Now I go look. That 300 is a debit balance in the creditors list. So can you see it's a debit balance, it's a minus in the creditors list. So how will I get it away? I'm going to plus it, and then I'm going to plus it. And you will always see, you guys, start learning this. With this transactions, it will always be a plus plus or a minus minus. It's never going to be a plus minus or a minus plus. They don't mix the signs. Okay? You'll see that. Okay. So now, what did I debit? I debited the debtor's control. So, Dumini, the debtor, will be debited. Dumini, the creditor, will be credited. Let's see if I do it as a debtor and creditors list, if it makes more sense to you. So, let me make it like this. So, as a debtor, he had a debit balance of 1980, right? As a creditor, he had a debit balance of 300, meaning it's negative. If it's negative, I want to do the opposite. So I'm going to plus it so that this becomes 0. So he's no longer someone I owe money to. He actually owes me that 300 also because I overpaid. You see? So now he owes me that 300 he needs to pay back and the 1980, and I show it in my books as debtors control. Does that make sense? So because he's actually now a full-time debtor. Chop. So let's total. This gives me 610, 1250, 1250, 610. Okay. Can you see the debit and credit sides are the same because I transferred from the one to the other one? Okay.